We're gonna paradise. We're gonna paradise. We're gonna paradise. Put the boom boom into my heart. Set my soul sky high when your painting show starts. Painter drives into my brain. He's gonna paint till he drives us insane. Something's bugging you, something ain't right. Your best friend told you what he painted last night.
Sleeping in your bed. Oh, my bad. I love singing along with that song. It's amazing. So, welcome back in, everybody. It's Paint with Josh. Hello, nice to see you. Looking fabulous. I know, I need a haircut badly. Like, it is way long. It is unruly. And it's all over the place. So, I'm tired of keeping it underneath my hat, though. I gotta let it breathe, man. So, in this show, we're just gonna be crazy here. So, you guys check in. Let me know where you're watching from out there. Dude has 3.2 million followers. 3.4 million followers, actually. Can't get a haircut. I don't know why. Right, like, well, I mean, I'm just too lazy. That's what it really is when you want to break it down. I'm just too lazy to text Casey and be like, hey, I need a haircut, which I'm gonna have to do tomorrow. Now, let's see. Let's get all this paint. This is our clear medium, as you can see, because if it was black, it would cover over our white stars and our little full moon out here, right? So we take our 16 by 20 inch canvas and then we cover it with our Bob Ross liquid clear. You can also use a brand called Grumbacher's, and I believe they call theirs the first coat liquid clear. And it's the exact same stuff, literally. It's very much like linseed oil. It's just going to cover the canvas, make it wet, and make it slippery, kind of like greasing up a pan before you go to do, cook something, right? But a lot of times we put too much grease in our pan when we go to cook it. So we have to wipe off all this excess clear paint that has the capability of dripping in the night. And you don't want that to happen. So wipe off all the excess, man. See, that's what it looks like right here. Just a little bit of craziness. Looks like my hair. Should we do like bangs? Like, tonight's the night I'll fall for you. ever seen those videos? It's always like a llama or like a bull that has like dug its horns into the grass, and so it looks like a teenage kid's hair, just wild and stuff. I like it. I'm gonna leave it. I don't even care. No, I do care, but I don't care. Now, we've got our canvas. It's all liquid cleared or linseed oil, and then we wipe off all the excess, so it's still very slippery. You'll never be able to wipe off all the paint that we just put on. We're just taking off the excess stuff. Now, whether or not we do teal purple blue or purple blue crimson, if I don't have enough teal right here, I don't think there's enough paint in that pile in order to cover the canvas that we need. So we're going to go with our Madder Carmine color, which is basically the same as Alizarin crimson, our dioxazine purple, and our ultramarine blue. So grab those colors out. And now, since our canvas is wet, we're going to cover it with all of our undercolors, okay? Now, what did people say the other day, London, that we were gaslighting them, that there actually wasn't any color on the canvas because it looks so dark? See, you know what? Let's do a right-hand crashing wave too. We normally never do them, which is why we're going to do them today. We'll take a little bit of our crimsony Madder Carmine color. Okay, you don't need a whole lot, and it doesn't need to be too big of a space. We'll plop in a little thing out here. Okay, let's put a little bit of it, probably up into our sky somewhere. Right? And the more you push out here, the more we're just going to be able to ignite with our white paint. Okay, so if you have it on too heavily, and it's really vibrantly red, then, I don't know, that's going to be a bit too much. You know what I mean? We don't need it on there too heavily. Little stripe out there, and then we'll get a little bit more of it and put it down underneath here, right? Let's see, starting up a little higher over there, getting a little bit lower down here. I almost did it backwards because we're so used to doing it the opposite way, you know what I mean? Where we have all of our waves crashing this way versus the way that we're going today. So, now we're going to take a little bit of our blue, because that's the next darkest color that we have. We're going to pop in some of that blue kind of underneath that crimson. It can mix in, right? We don't need to have stripes of color. We can pop some of the blue in up here. Now the blue is a transparent color, right? And shows you, I just had all that blue pushed it across, all these little white spots have now turned blue out there, but they haven't disappeared, right? That is the definition of a transparent color. It looks very dark. Looks like you're putting it just on black. You know what I mean? Just black paint on a black canvas. But when it goes across something that's white, it shows you that white right through all of that color, right? That's the definition of a transparent color. So again, a little bit of our blue. I'm going to pop some of it down underneath, down here, just let it mix very gently, meaning we need to use a lot of force in order for it to mix softly, right? If we don't mix it enough, then it's not going to blend out enough, right? Taking our purple and our blue down here, mixing it up, pushing it out. So you only really have a little stripe of red by the time you get done. A little bit of that purplish color as well up into the sky, back above the eye of the wave, over here underneath the blue. You can wrap it in from the top corner. I don't want to cover our moon, right? I want it to stay nice and bright like that. It's going to be gorgeous, right? But if we do go across it with this purple color, it will change the color instantly. You know what I mean? You won't be able to really get rid of it. Mix that bluish crimson-y little patch in there just so that nothing is all the same, right? The only thing that's really pink is the eye of the wave and a little bit of sand down here, but it's also been mixed with. You know what I mean? Basically, everything except the eye has been mixed. That's the only thing that's untouched. All this is blue, purple, and crimson and everywhere else, okay? Now, we're going to take our white and our fan brush, load it up out here. Okay, now depending on a black, I almost made a faux pas. Depending on whether or not you're on white canvas or black canvas, right, we need much less paint. So let's get a little bit of white. And let's say we came up here, and I don't want to hit that star. I want to be able to see that guy in the distance. So let's make a little weird little shape. Just again, just kind of scrubbing it, making sure it pops up and has these weird little bits every so often. Not too much paint out there, right? And then it will mix down with those colors that are underneath, depending on how much paint you put up there, right? So I can already see that if I don't put some more, just at least right back there, there won't be enough to blend down on that side, right? And as I grab it and I start to push it, you see how far it goes and extends? Look at this, right? Now, if I use a lot of white, it's going to be really bright. Right? It's going to be very hard to make it disappear completely. So you have to judge how much white did you just grab? How much did you put up onto that canvas? Because if you want them to be very bright, you got to touch them very soft. If you want them to mix, right, then you have to push them harder. But if you push harder, it's going to make them grow. You know what I mean? So you have to make those little split-second decisions out there. Let it soften, get faded out like that. And then maybe, since it's been a minute, let's put in just one of the old Paint with Josh UFOs out there. Just again, a very kind of straight, flat little arc of paint, which doesn't make sense, right? Straight and arc, right? It is slightly arced, which again, we can accentuate by making this guy just like a metronome. Back and forth like that, right? You don't want it to be like an M or like the letter N or something. You just want it to be very flat, okay? Very flat. Now you've got to come in underneath that guy and around him, okay? So let's say it came out there, kind of touched along the side, dipped underneath, and then come up again, right? It'll look like that guy is about to pop out of these clouds or in between the two clouds. And if we leave a little bit of darkness underneath, it creates this little shadow down there, you guys. Oh, it's fabulous. Let's mix this guy out here. You know what's so funny? I got a comment that was like, I was wondering if this guy was gay, but he's like, that fantastic that he said just guaranteed he like locked it in that I was gay because of how I said fantastic. Oh. I was like, oh, that's cool. I was like, that's fantastic. I was like, I have a girlfriend, buddy, but go ahead, whatever. I don't care. Think whatever you want to think. There we go. Look at that. See what I mean? That little bit looks like he's just popping out, almost like the Independence Day clouds when the ship pops out of the cloud and it's all on fire, right? Ours is all cloudy and such, but it looks like you get this little guy who's about to pop out right there. Fantastic, everybody. How can you see the last product? So that one, you can go over to my Facebook. It's posted over there, and you can see that. That's official Paint with Josh over on Facebook. So if you search up that, it'll pull up my page. You can go over and see it. We already posted that picture. And then this one, it's going to depend. If it, I mean, I don't know. We may post this one later on tonight, or I might just wait till tomorrow to show you the finished version of this guy. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. See how it's a little dark down here? And I don't want to add any extra paint, but if I can take some of the paint that's up there and drag it downwards, right? Grip it a little bit and just help it kind of move over to that side, then you can get those brighter little spots without having to have too much paint, right? If we have too much paint, it's going to be too bright. It's going to grow too far. You know what I mean? All things are up to us, you guys. Remember, if these two are too similar, which is the only reason why we added some extra right here, it's because they were looking too much the same, right? So you have to make sure that it's at least a bit brighter. That's why we work it from its brightest spot to its darkest spot. So then you can come back in and make it brighter with more paint. Right? Say we came over here, pop this guy over that side. And again, you got to be very careful. You don't want to cover the gap in between the UFO and these clouds. And you don't want to make these clouds so dark by over mixing them that they look the same as the other guy. Isn't that cool? That is neat, you guys. And again, the more you mix it and push it real rough along the bottom, you can even drop off just a faint amount of light back there underneath our clouds. Really cool. This one is looking fabulous. Remember, you guys get to title the painting, especially if you grab it during the live show. You get to title it for all time. Now, let's come out here. Excuse me. We're going to grab a little bit of our titanium white. We're going to start just about in the middle of our canvas, right? Kind of deciding where our horizon is. Is it way down here where it turns all the way black? Is it up there? Is it up here, here? Right? Where do you feel like your horizon is? We're going to go right in the middle, bang, just like that, right on our horizon, then start dipping down very slightly, just a little bit, right? So we should be able to tell a slight difference in this side being a little higher and then this side being slightly lower. Now, it can't just stay on that angle, right? You have to sort of fill back off of this side, feeding it from the right to the left, so you can get a faint amount of color to feed back away from it, right? This is just the front of the wave. But way up, holy cow, look at that. The way that I'd scrape the paint, looks like the letter R. Look at that. That's wild. Literally, whoever gets this painting, your name has to begin with the letter R, apparently. That's cool. Look at that, though, right? It's coming down a little bit more and more and more and more and more. We don't need it to come down too much, especially if you want to have that this be a little bit further and then something else be a little closer, right? So we'll scrape up a little bit more of our paint. Now it says, like, I don't know what that is. It's a different language now. But we're going to scrape up a little bit more, aim above our eye, right? And we're going to just change the angle a little bit. Just drop on a little line, okay? A little difference so we can see that this one's going to roll up and over and go down the other side. We don't want it to get too big, okay? If it's too steep and too crazy, it looks a little funky. Trust me, I've done many of them, okay? So listen to me when I tell you. Now, we're also about to pop in the eye. Your eye of your wave does not want to be way over here in the middle. It wants to be on the edge of the canvas. So let's pop it in right here, right? A little bit of paint, trying to keep a small separation in between the two. You see the little disconnection right there? It's all you need, my friends. You can even pop it up a little bit. Now, the reason we try to keep a disconnection is because, again, if everything all turns into the same, then we're not going to be able to tell what is what out there, right? So we don't want it to get too big. We don't want it to grow too much. We don't want it to look all exactly the same, okay? And now we're going to use our 2-finger separator. So we're going to get up here. We're going to put our 2 fingers right on the edge of the eye, and then right where it's going to, right where the edge of our fingers are going to tap this way, right? Just barely above the horizon right there. It's going to dip down and tap in. We've got an emergency services coming around. There we go. Right? Make a very small, very shallow U, or like a parentheses shape, just tapping against the canvas and pulling away. You want to know what happens when we do that? We tap against the canvas, and then when we pull it away, we leave these little ridges and little bits that are stuck up there, and they also get stuck to the blade, right? But now what we're going to do is wipe off the blade so it's nice and clean. we're going to start on this side, and instead of just pulling straight down like an elevator, okay, we're going to kind of cast it over here to like 5:30-ish, not 6 o'clock, right? We're not going straight down. We're going to cast it to the corner, right? So we're going to throw it off this way. Little things, little things, little things. The more that you kind of attach onto that roll and then drag it, right? You attach on, pull it. And the more that we're doing this, I'm doing them at different angles, and we're doing them kind of more accentuated just for you guys, you know, so you can see what we're talking about. These guys over here, they have to go 2, 3 o'clock over here, right? Then they start getting a little bit lower and a little lower and lower and lower and lower until it's gonna, I'm telling you, it's gonna make it look so round, you guys. You come down here and they get lower and lower and lower and lower until they're gonna wrap around underneath our little friend, right? We still have 1 finger's worth of space in between the eye and our crashing wave, which is good because we're going to need to come in here and blast in all of this water, right? What we need for that is our liquid white and our titanium white. And so when we come down here and mix them, it's like a half and half, basically. You don't want it to be too liquid whitey because it will disappear. It will just brush away too quickly. And if it's too titanium white filled, then it's going to be too thick like our clouds were, and it's going to take too much pressure and grow too far, right? And so it's a very fine line. Now, let's pretend like we're riding on top of this water. We don't want to get in between the eye and the actual lip up here. And so we're going to turn our brush on the side. Right in the middle of the eye is where we're going to start our little taps. And the more that we tap, the more we're going to, the bigger the tap is, right? Taller it's climbing up, the bigger the splotch. And they're just little tiny splotches, but they're getting bigger, okay? Now we're going to start dipping down into this area, remembering that this paint is going to grow when we brush it. So if anything, let's stay way up here, right, next to our little friend, only leaving a little bit of separation in between. And the more that we smack at it, right, especially the more you get up here, you go above your horizon, you can start angling it. And each time you hit it, right, the more I turn the handle, the more it's going to make that look like it's going a different way. So what do you feel like, right? We know we're going to come back in there and blend it out. And then the whole bottom doesn't really even matter. We can scrape back into it and get rid of things that we don't want. We can go back over it again and make it brighter if it all brushes out too much. You know what I mean? It's all up to us, literally, right? And it looks a little funky right now. I would totally agree, right? I would say, why am I watching this guy? Right?
I'm so sorry, I have to read this out.
What?
Look at the screen.
What's it say? Well, I've never painted the Northern Lights. I painted the Northern Lights and won a 2nd place in a painting competition. That's awesome. Thank you so much for the inspiration. That's amazing. So they went and painted the Northern Lights after watching me do it and then won 2nd place in their competition. That's really cool. Okay. So we're keeping our splotches tight up here. That way that when we get in here with just the smallest, like 2 hairs, literally. If we zoomed in enough, you'd be able to see the 2 hairs, right? And so it's also about, you know, that amount of pressure. So we're barely touching it. And then we're only really touching it in one spot for a few swipes, and then we're out of there. You do not want to stay and just continue to mix and mix and mix and mix in that same spot. So what I always say is get out there and then never stay in one place for too long. Because if we are staying in one spot for too long, then it's all going to blend and look exactly the same. You know what I mean? And if it looks the same, then it's not going to look realistic. If you ever get a spot in here that's a little darker and you don't like that spot, pop in a little bit, right? A couple little random splotches in there, and then you go back up again, even softer this time. Not even flick some of those things, because we're going to take them and mix them all up anyway. You know what I mean? But now, if you can keep a very small separation in between the eye as it's rolling over, you're going to be in real good shape. And I'm talking about good shape there. Sure. So we'll take a quick commercial break here, guys. You guys can chill out, watch this commercial. We'll be back right after these words.
Holy cow, did you see with all of our new setup and all of our new equipment that we can actually see I'm talking about all of your comments. So not a single comment will get missed, nothing gets lost. I can see them on the television.
And London, right back here, is checking everything out on the computer. So comment, comment, comment. It helps much more than you might think and helps boost engagement and gets us out to more people. So let's get back to the show and see what we got going on up there. Up there, you guys. You guys are amazing. Okay, we're going to take a little bit of our titanium white and our liquid white. And we're going to mix those guys together. And again, about a 50-50 mix. So it's about the same paint pile that we were working with back here. Okay, now we're going to scrape up a little bit of this, and I'll show you right-handed and left-handed how to do this guy, okay? Now we can see our red band of color down here very faintly, right? That's going to be the smallest, faintest area of our water. So everything has to fit into the space above that and not really come out too terribly far, okay? So what we're going to do is basically, if we can take this guy and scrape him down so that his tip over here is a little lower, pretty much it, right? So it's climbing up and rolling over that way. That's going to basically tell us where, if we put a straight line right here, cut through this, all this stuff, straight line, right? Bang, right there. That's going to be the back of our water. And so we're going to start to push and get lower and lower, just slightly, right? We're not trying to get crazy. It should almost look like a straight line. It's very shallow in its dip, right? We don't need it to go insanely huge on the dip down, okay? Now remember, this is the back of the water. So if you needed to cut into your little space back here or whatever, right? It's the back, it's not the front. You don't have to worry about the lip on this one because we come back again, we push it a little harder and we extend this paint down, right? And as we extend it further down, that's going to give us the lip on the front, right? So usually do it about an inch or so in front of the water. The more stuff you have back here, the further away, the smaller your wave's going to look. You know what I mean? So again, kind of connect on and bring it down. Go back and get a little bit more paint. Connect on to where we were. Bring them down. Bring this whole line down. Doesn't have to go insanely crazy. Remember, you can always come down, drop out a little bit more. Go back, come down again, drop out a little bit more just to make it so it's not some, perfect shape. And again, don't go too wild. Okay, all this excess stuff that you had back here is going to be perfect, right? You can either take it with your brush and very lightly start dragging it, you know what I mean? Taking it back and then getting tighter and tighter and tighter, making smaller and smaller little rotations as you go inward, right? You can use a little bit more of your titanium white and sort of connect onto this guy. And I'm going to show you just as this stuff rolls in there, right? And then it starts to curve up. You've got to get that rotation, right? Using it to kind of scrape along. All of this stuff back here is just foamy gunk, right? It's not a nice string of color. It's not a, perfect little branch looking thing of whatever, right? It is a patch of foam that is floating on top of our water, right? So the more random and crazy it is, the more realistic it's going to look, right? Get it out there, let it rotate, come down. You can change these little angles, right? Up to you, how far you want it to go up there and how much brightness you want to have down here, right? Do you need it to be crazy bright? Because the more brightness you put down there, the more you're going to lose those differences, right? And those differences are everything. You have that bit of bright color, a bit of our darker gray or blue or pink or whatever the color would be, right? You're controlling what's happening as these things are rolling back. Now remember, you have to have a little dark space underneath. You got to. The light cannot reach all the way down there, right? And then these guys can kind of connect on, if you had enough, just the same as like that little ridge, and kind of drag that guy down, connecting on to our little floaty bits that are then rolling up, right? As these things are rolling and going forward. Very, very cool, you guys. Again, you want to have that downward angle, right? So we're getting lower and lower and lower as we go. That's going to make that side look further away and this side look a little bit closer to you. That is it, seriously. Now, we're going to come in and do our little cool sandy technique. So if you've never seen that happen, then you're going to want to stick around, man. Over here, over there, right? Wherever you want. Fabulous. And always, it always happens to me. It always tries to roll back up. So keep it going down, right? It's got to continue to go down this way filling in that spot, bang, just like that. That way you have that thing and it does not roll back or curve back up on the other side. Now we're going to need a little bit more of our liquid white. We're going to take our titanium white and liquid white mix. And it's usually about now we're adding a little bit more titanium white. So it's about a 60-40 mix. You still need that liquid white in there, but we don't need it to be all liquid white, right? If it's all liquid white, it's just not going to be good for us. We can even extend that guy out. We could do whatever. Seriously, you can bring it down. You could do whatever you want to do, guys. I'm telling you. Dude, that's going to look really cool, actually. We should have done it before, so I'm going to try to really scrape that part in. And then on the exterior, we're going to drop a little bit of that really wet paint and then pull it down, right? As we pull it down, it looks very much like a waterfall. Like you guys say that to me all the time, how much it looks like a waterfall. And I'm like, have you guys ever seen a waterfall? There, a little bit of shininess right there, right? Then I'm going to decide, because we've never done one like this before, let's come in here, leave a separation, scrape in a little bit like that, right? Just a little bit at a time. Now we'll come back in. We'll go back over here and we'll pull down on that paint. We don't want it to be like severely bright. Not on this one anyway. Don't need it to grow down too terribly far, okay? And then again, pull it away from the wave. So we have that little bit of shininess in there. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Now what if, just like we did over there, if we came here and we popped out a little space, and then we, again, continue dropping it down and down. That's pretty cool. I like that. You can even do it again down here by the time we get there. Oh, that's neat, isn't it? Now again, let's scrape up that very wet paint, throw it underneath where we want our little shiny area to be. And again, if we use a whole lot, so you might not want to put on too much, because if we do use too much, it's going to grow down and be very bright, right? I'm talking about very, very bright. So we want to keep it a little bit darker. Let's use less paint. There we go. Pulling it down again and then swiping it, right? Only doing this so we could have those little projections, right? Because they're harder to do or harder to fill and try to have that back shininess underneath there if you're not doing them one at a time. That looks really neat. Now, the only thing that looks strange about it is this giant separation in between here, right? All these things, they've got different areas. Some are a bit thinner, some are really huge, some are big over here. We got open spaces, right? we gotta make that a little bit more uniform, okay? So, should we take another commercial break, or has it not been time enough? Oh, I'm thrown off by when we started.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Right on. So I'm going to get into my liquid white and titanium white mix. So it's about that 60-40 mix we were just working with. I'm going to scrape up enough that when I come up here, as I push down, right, it's going to shrink that dark separation in between my water and my sand, right? I need to have a very small one. I don't need it to be this big. I need it to be that big, that very small little dark shadow in between. And so we take this paint and we pull it out and we shrink it down right on top just by kind of agitating what's already there. And of course you have to add a little bit so you can keep that ridge, right? But you're just agitating the paint, bringing it down until it shrinks small enough that you can't nearly almost see that little dark separation, right? And if you lose it, it's okay. It happens sometimes, right? I've had many paintings where we've gotten too close, and if we don't push hard enough and get rid of those verticalities, then it just won't look as smooth, man. That's cool. That is cool, guys. Look at that with the pink and the blue. Oh, it's fabulous. Goodness gracious, right? But again, you're deciding what you want your little dark separator to look like, how big it is, how far your water comes out, how bright the edge is, how much texture do you want on there. All these things are up to you, right? You guys are in control of all of that. Okay, so that looks really cool. I like it. It's like reaching out, right? And again, you got to keep it going down. Don't let it try to wrap its way up around the side. Now, we should probably down here take a little bit of our Van Dyke brown, before we seal in this bit of wetness, so we'll take our Van Dyke brown and let's start pushing it back a little bit, right? Kind of pushing that guy along. If we have too much paint on the brush, right, then it's going to be very heavy and it's going to want to grow and overtake all of our shininess. So let's not have too much paint. And if so, let's push on it real hard and then wipe it on our paper towel. Push on it real hard, trying to like literally take it off the canvas. You can get in there with your paper towel too and wipe it, but just like that. And we're gonna sneak in just a little bit into that shiny area, right? We don't wanna have a line. I want the two lines to crisscross and blend together and have this little bit of gorgeousness out there. Higher up here, lower down here, just like we've been doing, right? This whole time, been doing the same thing. Looks pretty cool to me. Now, in order to add a little bit of brightness to that sand, right, just so we can see a touch, get out there with that liquid white and then rub it into that sand. There we go. Now we got a little touch of brightness, so it's not just pure dark brown. Right, get that color out there. We don't want to push back too much of our shininess. And if we do, you can always get in here and extend it down a little bit again, right? You never have to just live with it. You can fix things. You can change things. You can make it brighter and darker, and all these things are totally up to you guys, right? You are the one that's painting the scene, not me. I've already painted it. You're watching the video, right? You're the one painting the scene. So what do you feel like it should look like? You know what I mean? Should we make it bigger? Should we make it shinier? Should we make that shiny area come down further? Right? What do you feel like yours should look like today? Because that's how you should do it every time. That's fabulous. Now it actually looks like our water line starts way up here, right? And then by the time that we get down, we fall off the bottom of the canvas almost. Just changes. It's almost like we're totally going to get taken out by this wave. When it comes in, woo, it's going to get our shoes wet. It's going to get everything wet, right? But that is a very shiny, cool looking little beach. Now let's imagine too, if we had our full moon, right, you might expect to see a few more little bits or brighter things underneath that section, right? So I'm going to drop on some of that paint. I'm going to pull it down a bit less firm. I'm not going to try to make it go away completely. You know what I mean? It's not too bad. We can kind of shape it in there, even make it look like a circle. That would be kind of cool. You can always go back in and make it darker, right? So, and you can see the more that I push it this way, just like a sequin pillow, it'll go that way. So let's push it back the other way, and then the other way, and then the other way, and then the other way, and make that little bit of brightness just shine right there. It's fantastic. My word. You can even change the whole look of everything. How do you want it to look, guys? Because it's totally up to you, right? So, let's come up with a title for this one. What do you guys want to call it? Right? Let me know in the comments below. Get that shininess. Right? Again, if it gets too dark, just brush it out a little bit, man. Change up the whole thing. Do it. It's totally up to you. You are in control of this whole thing. Right? No one's there telling you it should be one way or should be the other way. Totally up to you. Right? I can do literally anything. You want to take this out? Take it out. You want to change the look? Change the look. What do you feel like today? Right? So, hit me with your titles. This is going to be nice and shiny down here. You guys! Right? Oh, yeah. Oh, I like it. So, hit me with your titles. What would you guys want to call this one? And then remember, if you purchase it, right, you get to pick the title forever. It becomes your painting. You tell us what to call it. Right? But you got to grab the painting during the live show in order for that to happen, right? I like it. You can always close these things down too. Say you don't like those little bits, take them out. Make it all one single line again, right? All up to you. Just trying out different things. Again, if we scrape this in at a random thing and even leave little shadows and stuff in it, that's cool because you got a whole little shadowy area right there. We're taking our water line out to the front. It's a little bit more flat now, right? Because it doesn't always have to come in so crazy. But again, I've just showed you like 4 different ways to paint 4 different seascapes. Which one do you like the best, right? Because you get to pick. Oh, that's cool. I love those little pockets right there. Boop, boop, boop. Maybe this one. He's a little bit too bright, too dark anyway. There. That looks like a little lip, doesn't it? Like a little lip of a wave coming in.
Oh, yeah.
And on that side too. Really, really cool. So, yeah, as you're going to have to come up with a title for this one. Let me know what you think, right? Try not to make it all too terribly wet and messy. And then, of course, let's feed in our little guy, which, again, doesn't even have to be, it doesn't have to match the back line. It could literally look however you want. And all we're going to do is scrape a little bit of that paint away from the edge. And again, this is the fish pish out here, right? It's just a foamy stuff that kind of gets deposited out on the front. It's not any bit of real thick water or anything, right? And again, if we scrape in or just kind of put a little bit of brightness in there, you get that little difference, a little shine, a little here, a little there. You could scrape in little details and little bits. Like some of the times you get these little kind of diagonal little bits that'll come through here and come over to that side. All up to you. Seriously. How do you want it to look in your scene today? Right? Oh, that's cool. You know they look like that too. They get over here and then they're like, ooh, we'll just take some of our thing back here. And again, totally up to you and how messy you want yours to get, right? Isn't it cool how you crisscross those? I've always loved that. I go down there and like search for that. I'm like, where's the crisscrossy one? Those are my fave. Where are they? See, and the more you do it, right, you get those same, right? We had our big one, and then we got a little one off of this side. You could pop in another one from over here, leading down to that side, right? You could change its angle. You could have little things break off of it. You could scrape through it and make it a little bit of whatever, right? All up to you. You're choosing what's happening in your waves, right? So let us know what you want to call this one. Fabulous. You can just call it fabulous. That would be fantastic. Final frontier. That's cool. I like that.
Final countdown.
The final frontier. Oh, no, it's a different song. Okay. That's final brain cell. It's me by the end of every second show. I've got one brain cell left, and it's just enough to go home. So, you guys come up with a title. We're going to throw in the old sand and water splashiness. So let's wash off our brush. Let's see. Is that a spaceship in the clouds? It absolutely is, if you think it is. Someone else might think it might be something else, but when I paint them, yes, they are there. And we don't do them all the time. Now, out here, with a very wet paint, and I'll show you even in our sandy area, if you just flick off a little bit, you see how many little speckles came out right there? So if we just do a little bit of pressure up here, it'll flick out and start sticking to the canvas. And then we got to make sure that we turn and we're throwing this paint out the same way that the waves are being tossed, right? It'll make it look more natural versus coming onto this side of the thing and then going like this and throwing it like the opposite way that the waves are crashing. It makes it look more realistic if you throw it this way, right? You can throw a couple of those in your little backwash area, a little heavier. They kind of reflect the shininess and the speckles above. Look like crushed seashells, all sorts of different things out there. You can also get up here into the top of the sky, pop in a couple little faraway stars if you didn't paint enough or whatever, right? And then, here's a really cool thing. You take your liquid white right on the end of your brush. You just dip it into your liquid white, right? We're going to come out here and I'm going to pop it into our canvas right there. I'm going to wipe off my palette tool, and because this paint is very runny and very wet, it's going to deposit and kind of transfer up and down off of our little guy, right? So if I go side to side, it's going to then again transfer side to side, and you'll make a little twinkler out here. Yeah! It's gorgeous. So tell me what you think this one should be called. Absolutely stellarly fantastic is not a very good title because it's pretty long. So let's short titles. Short titles. We do live stream on YouTube, TikTok, Twitch, Instagram, Facebook, and every other place that's possible. Literally, I don't even know how many other places. Lots. We go live everywhere. Now, what would you name this cosmic lighthouse is up in the building? This one I would call like, I don't know, like, yeah, that's the title. Absolutely, stellarly, amazingly, fantastically, beautifully, fabulous. And then you'd have to take up like 2-3 lines worth of title on that guy. So, let's see. Oh, ocean moonlight. Galactic waters. I like that. Versus like galactic wave. You know what I mean? If you say galactic waters, then it just makes it even more cool. To me, anyway. So let's finish washing off these brushes. You guys come up with the title. The North Star. That's cool. Right? I like it. Balcony of the Ocean. Feel you. Dude, this just reminds me of like nighttime at Hesita Beach. With those crashers rolling in. The moon in the distance. The lighthouse is like way the heck down here. If you look down like the... To be sure instead of sure. I like that. Sea salt mist. I like that one too. That is cool. Look at the colors in this one, you guys. It's just that pink. Yay, my favorite spot. I like that. That's a good title for it too. So remember, if you grab this one during the live show, you'll not only make me like so happy, but also you get to come up with the title. If you get it during the show before I pick a title, right? So if you wait too long, you're going to run out on your chance of titling it, okay? You will also get a free gift off the Spinny Winnie wheel if you grab the painting during the live show. And you'll activate the light party for everybody, and that's everyone's favorite. And so you'll become everyone's favorite person, at least for like tonight. You know what I mean? And that's a big deal. There's lots of people. So if you want to be everyone's favorite person, then you gotta go grab this painting right now. Majestic Mist, that's cool. Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. I like that one. Twilight Ocean Moonlight. What'd you say, Lynn?
Sacred Lunar Rhythm.
Sacred Luna or Lunar? Lunar. Lunar. Luna. Because some people call it Luna or Lunar. They just drop the R off the end. Let's see. Dreamscape. I like that one too. Guys, remaining. We're going to put the birds in. How can I see the last product, the last painting that we did? You just go to my page and scroll down a little bit if you're already over there on Facebook. Just go to my page and scroll down and you'll see the last painting that we did. Or you can watch the YouTube tutorial all the way through to the end and you can see the painting at the very end. Let's pop in the old birdie birds, in which case, since we're on a black canvas, I'm just going to use a little of my liquid white. It's already a very white, runny paint. The joy of Josh. That's funny. That would probably get us sued in a heartbeat, bro. Everyone's always like, oh, why don't you wear like the wig and stuff? And I was like, because I don't want to get sued. Like I'm already on their radar. Everyone already knows who I am if you paint like us. You know what I mean? I've got the most followers out of literally anyone. I went and checked Kevin Hill's following because I figured it was over 1 million by now. Don't get me wrong, right? Only 747,000. 3 times at least what I have on YouTube, but I thought it was over that. I don't know why I thought that, but yeah, crazy, man. How do you do the moon? I'm curious. So we have a playlist over on my YouTube page that it's called the how-to playlist, and it will show you how to make a moon just like that on a much bigger scale. This one, we literally took some white gesso, a little tape roll, right? So you put the tape roll, and the inside of the tape roll is the same size as the moon. Take a little bit of white acrylic, go around there, pop our little craters and stuff on, which I show you how to do on a bigger scale in that how-to video in the how-to playlist. And so if you go over there and check, right? Just go to YouTube and search for Paint with Josh or youtube.com/Paint with Josh, you know what I mean? And that will take you to my page, and then you find all the playlists, right? You'll see all the little tabs where it'll say like home, videos, shorts, live, playlists. Bang, that's the one you want to grab. Hit the playlist and then find the I'm lost. The how-to playlist. Thank you, London. Appreciate you. And then you go to how to make a moon, or how to put liquid white on your canvas, or how to put the clear, how to package paintings that you've sold.
The Visitors Retreat.
That's a cool title. The Visitors Retreat. All sorts of things, right? Incoming! I like that. Like First Contact over here. Coming in through the clouds, man. Space Ocean. I like that one too. I like it. So, let's see. I like Incoming. That's cool. That's a cool title. So, let's pin that one. Who we get? Where is that person? Amanda, it says. Amanda is going to get the title of this one. Incoming! Because our armed forces are over here on the beach getting ready to defend us against this extraterrestrial entity that's coming into our atmosphere. Incoming! I like that. Okay, so you guys have been amazing. I can't wait to see your versions of this painting. That's what's going to be fun, right? Go check out the other videos, the little how-to videos, how to make a moon, different stuff like that, right? And then it's literally just a paper towel, or a tape roll and some paper towels and like a little fan brush. That's all you really need to make a moon like that. That's all I ever do anyway. So, check it out. Do it on a smaller scale. This is 2263, right? Yes. Sweet. And we're calling it Incoming. So INCOMMING, right? Incoming with two M's.
It was a B.
And a B. Incoming. Yeah, in between the M and the I. Incoming. Perfect. I like that. Okay. This one's painted on 1/30/2026. I can't believe we've already been through a whole month of 2026. Like, time is flying by. It's been already been a really long year, London says. So, I would tend to agree. Let's get over here. This one came out amazing, you guys. I can't wait to see your versions of it. Oh my goodness, my nose itches. There we go. I can't wait to see your version of this painting. So please send it in when you get finished to our Facebook at Official Paint with Josh. I would have loved to have seen what this one looked like in a light party or an RGB party, just to see all the differences and stuff. Golly. Would have been great, but you guys know me. I can't break that rule unless somebody grabs this painting during the live show, and you're running out of time. Look at that. Little finger with Josh. Perfect. Now let's get over here. You guys have been amazing. I can't wait again to see your version, so please send them in. And until we see you guys again tomorrow, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. on the East Coast, take care. Have the rest of a good day. Well, that one came out amazing. I want to thank you guys for being here, liking, subscribing, tapping the screen, commenting, and interacting with me. It's all been fantastic. In the meantime, before we get to our next painting, be sure you check out paintwithjosh.com because there's always something else to look at over there. So until I see you guys again next time, take care.